energizing with the words that he spoke yesterday. This is who is a man who was a part of a group that Donald Trump thinks has very fine people. They are no longer hiding in the shadows, and they thank Donald Trump for that.
So, Jacob, there is a level of discomfort in giving oxygen to views like that. What did you learn from your conversation with him?
Well, and that's what people have said to me as well on social media, and I think that the idea is sunlight is the best disinfectant. If you do not, sitting at home, understand who Donald Trump is emboldening with comments like this, just because at other times he may have disavowed white supremacists or white nationalists or the KKK. At the same time, he is energizing people. William Johnson says he's energizing the rank and file of the American white nationalist movement like they have never been energized before. And if you ignore this, this type of conversation continues and it goes unnoticed.
NBC's Morgan Radford is joining the conversation back here at 30 Rock, Jacob, because you've been following some of the reaction here at home and around the world. Jonathan and Catherine are back with us as well. A spectacle of himself. And then the editorial board of the Washington Post, in an article titled "The Nation Can Only Weep," they said Tuesday was a great day for David Duke and racists everywhere. Then we see in the LA Times Trump doubling down on his irresponsible, inexcusable comments. And then two columnists said Trump's horrifying take 3 on Charlottesville, and he follows Obama's example of moral equivalence. And what we found interesting, we compared the sentiments within these editorials, was a lot of people doubled down on this feeling that he provided this false equivalence, that he was really creating an equal platform for two ideas that people felt weren't equal. Including something that was called the alt-right, and a phrase, Jonathan, that your organization, as of today, will no longer use.
That's right. The Associated Press, within the last 24 hours, has decided to stay away from the phrase alt-right, unless, of course, it's in a quote or something, for this, and I'll read it. The phrase alt-right should be avoided because it is meant as...
With such massive insecurity since Richard Nixon. And I think increasingly people feel he's posing a danger not just to his party, but to the country. And, you know, he's going to tear us apart.
David Gergen. So what about U.S. lawmakers? What are they saying this morning? After a few hours to think about it, we're going to hear some of those comments too. That's in about 15 minutes. Now, the University of Virginia's football team is trying to share their message of love and unity in the wake of what happened in Charlottesville over the weekend.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning, Robin. Yeah, the team's back at practice now for the first time after the tragic incidents at Charlottesville, and the team wanted to make one thing clear. This Bleacher Report brought to you by Ford F-Series. Listen.
At the players' request, wanted to take a picture in front of the rotunda yesterday with their arms linked. That was not my idea. It was our players' idea. And they stand together, and they stand united, embracing, in Micah Kaiser's words, the differences, and respecting the differences and valuing the differences.
All right, so the team there in Virginia, they locked arms in a show of solidarity, and they were at practice when they learned about the tragic incident that happened in Charlottesville. They hope that the lessons that they have learned from the game of football, like respecting teammates of different races, religions, political beliefs, all working together to succeed, can help our nation heal as well. All right, yesterday, I got to tour the newest...
Consider the idea that he might be wrong about some of these things, and I really tried to pose these sort of alternative explanations for all of the social ills that he observes in the world. And ultimately, at the end of it, you know, it just seemed like we were going in circles a lot. You know, he's got like a million reasons for believing every little thing he believes, and he gets it all from all these different sources.
Well, his nephew also posted this to Facebook. Please change your name immediately. You're bringing shame and causing a great deal of heartbreak and distress for all of us. Peter Taft tells affiliate WWIII he doesn't hold a grudge against his family members for disowning him, because he says it's the safest thing that they can do in this political climate.
All praise to Yahweh, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. I want to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHWASHI, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHWASHI, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHWASHI. Once again, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, YAHWASHI, YAHWASHI. Double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to the Akim around the four corners, pushing his word with truth and sincerity. Basically, I want to do a quick video about the protests and, the fighting that went on in Virginia. I was trying to catch a clip of it actually showing, the two factions getting it in or whatever, but as of lately, I haven't been able to catch that, and I don't have the software to try to pull something off YouTube or, a video off the news and upload it into this. So basically, I took a few news clippings, or I taped a few videos and put them together. Basically, what everybody's talking about, it's kind of funny because when, before they had that protest, they was talking about North Korea, shooting missiles, and then it was like the next day, they talking about these statues coming down, and then, I'm finding out how not only the the statue come down in Virginia, but in North Carolina, Baltimore, So it's kind of odd how all these different places pick the same time to bring down these statues. Anyhow, I got a few scriptures. Basically, it was some black people involved. A few black people got hurt, but majority of what I saw when it was on CNN was, the Egyptian fighting the Egyptian, which is the modern day Egyptian is the white man. But and then, how these people are regarding Trump, they really worried or want to know how he feels when everybody's so surprised that he's maybe a so-called racist when he had something to say about pretty much every nationality. The only nationality he didn't really speak on was, the so-called black man. But at the end of the day, if he had something to say about everybody else, it's just funny, how people are so shocked to think that he is, quote, so-called racist, when not knowing that the word racist basically just is for, racism, or racist is just meaning you're for your race, so, I can deal with it, you know what I mean? But anyhow, like I said, I put together like 3 different videos, so that's how this, clips will start off. But I wanted to go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, and I'm going to start at verse 14. And this is going into basically how, because we're going to have race wars. Like you can see, like I said, I saw whites fighting whites from what I saw on CNN. And how a lot of people don't have faith in the government right now. So, how people aren't regarding Trump. So, like I said, this is the book, 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 14. And it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." Verse 15, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another." Salakia. I'm going to start that over. "And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." Verse 16, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So basically, like I was saying, right now Trump is catching a little bit of heat. But, at the end of the day, that guy has dealt with a lot of money. He's got big, multi-million-dollar, probably billion-dollar businesses. So, I'm sure he's used to pressure. And, I was watching something on CNN. They were speaking to that fucking sellout Don Lemon was speaking with Michael Moore. And, he was even trying to hush his words. I don't know too much about Michael Moore. I just know he's brought out, like, a lot of informative information, but I've never really followed him besides that. But he did make some clear-cut statements. And basically, he was saying, anybody could tell that this, this guy Trump is a racist, you know what I'm saying? He believed he was a racist. So for everybody to be sitting up there like they're so in shock and awe, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny to me. But, and you got a lot of people coming out saying how he's a racist. So, like I said, that basically is a clear-cut scripture about how, in verse 16, the people, they shall not regard their kings or nor their princes. And, to back that up, I got a precept in the book of Jeremiah. No, in the book of Isaiah, Salakia. It talks about the Egyptian fighting Egyptian. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. I'm going to start at verse 1. The point is in 2, but I'm going to read to 4. The burden of Egypt, behold. Egypt, the modern day Egypt is, America. YAHAWASHI, Yahawah shall ride up upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Now, it's a clip on there that I filmed where I just noticed on CNN, like it's one uncle, well, Salakia is a nephew that basically disowns his uncle because he comes to find out that this man was on there, he's promoting, so-called hate, when a lot of people don't even realize that, there's a lot of hate in the Bible, that's why it's a beautiful book. But anyhow, and that wasn't, that's the only clip I got, but, CNN, they was talking about, a few people were like, fathers were disowning sons, so it, if it's not even physical fighting, it's, division, that brings up to mind that scripture in Luke or Matthew. I'm gonna get it real quick, and then I'm gonna jump back about as far as how the Messiah is gonna bring division. It's in the book of Matthew, I believe it's 10 and 34. Excuse me for a second. I'm trying to do this by myself. Like I said, don't have anybody to hold the camera for me, but I found it. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 34. Think not that I have come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Verse 35, for I am come to set a man against Salakia. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father and daughter, against her mother, and her daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And a man's foe shall be they of his own household. So, like I was saying, you got a lot of family members disowning family members because, they're saying, well, they didn't know that they were promoting hate and whatnot. And it's very hard to believe that these people didn't get it out of the household. A child grows up with the values. That's in the Bible, That's why it says the rod of correction, a child learns from their parents. So for these people to be disowning their family members, not saying that they couldn't, anything is possible. If it's the Lord's will, But at the end of the day, majority of these people, that's usually brought up in the household. So for these people to be saying that they didn't learn that in their household and they're disowning them, that's just, like I said, that's proving how the Messiah, or better yet, YAHAWASHI, is causing division amongst, this whole kingdom. Back to Isaiah chapter 19. I'm going to start at 2 again. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbors, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And best believe, now that it's out there, we got a president that we can see, is basically, I'm not going to say so-called, I believe he's a racist. You're going to have more and more of these, protests and, these different factions fighting. Best believe it, because, I come to find out some of those Black Lives Matter were there, and it's always funny, wherever this happens, it's always Black Lives Matter and it's always these white nationalists. And then from what I was hearing on CNN, they said after it all took place, all these people just supposedly disappeared. But you know how this misleading news is, like from watching different news channels, I saw it said one person got killed and like 24 got injured. And then another one said 3 people got killed and, so many injured. But then the same channel that said that 3 got killed, it said 1 got killed. So, but best believe that's coming to a city near you. And Lord willing, hopefully soon. Verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So, they're going to pray on, they Geminitic entities, whatever they got faith in, like people have been doing since the beginning, that's all throughout the scriptures. But, it's going to be a day where, they're going to be calling on it, it ain't going to work, though. And the Egyptians, verse 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh by Hashem, YAHAWASHI, the Most High of hosts. So basically that's saying that, when the Messiah come back, he's going to reign over them. The Messiah and then the election. So, like I said, just wanted to do a quick video on that. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, YAHAWASHI. Once again, double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations to all the Akim out there pushing the truth. Shalom.